Hello folks, this is Dmitry, welcome to my weekly listener recap. Today we're going to be talking about this puzzle on your screen. It's called What to Send In and it's by Charybdis. Now, Charybdis is a pseudonym of Chris Poole, a prolific listener setter that has been setting for a number of years, and I remember some of Charybdis puzzles in both Listener, Magpie, and I believe they're also in the Inquisitor now and then, and maybe in the EV. I haven't met Chris in person. I don't think he comes to the listener dinners, but we are following each other on the social media, and I find it quite amusing that actually today he shared this post, and since it's a public post, I guess I can just read it out because it illustrates, how the volume of his thematic output. So the post goes like this. Just had a good idea for a thematic crossword. The Purkinje shift, our transition to greater sensitivity to blue at dusk as our rods take over from cones at lower light levels. Thought I'd better just check Dave Henning's crossword database website to see if anybody had done it before. And they have. Damn, there's just one. Published in 2015. Written by me. So I guess that illustrates that, he has a lot of puzzles. And I think they're consistently of great level. So I was quite thrilled to see a Charybdis appearing in the listener. Now, the first glance at the grid, and you can see that it's asymmetric jigsaw. So jigsaws usually work like this. Let's read the preamble. Clues are given in alphabetical order of their answers. That's very typical for the jigsaw, which must be entered where they fit. Here is the complication. 6 entries are unclued. 1 entry's middle 3 letters are an abbreviation for a title whose English translation is the puzzle's 6-letter theme word. Read in normal grid order, the clue's first letters specify the entry containing the abbreviation and thus what to send in, and B, an instruction that must be followed, affecting 47 cells. Chambers Dictionary is the primary reference. Now this was very hard, and the reason it was very hard is specifically because of this. Well, first of all, the clues were not easy, but then also like the 6 unclued entries make it a bit of a problem because you don't know where they are. And so every time you're trying to fit some pieces of the jigsaw together, you need to be mindful that maybe it's not one. So you can't just derive the position of a certain entry. If you know this entry, say, starts with P, you can't just you can't dissect your clues until you find the ones which start with P and have the certain number of letters, because maybe this is an unclued entry. So one thing I should say that because of this, I should have started with this bookkeeping exercise, which unfortunately I only did fairly like halfway through. But basically what you can see here in this little table on the left is for every possible entry length, and luckily here at least the entry lengths and the answer lengths are all the same. I just checked how many positions in the grid you have of the given length and how many clues you have that have this number of letters for their answer lengths. And so, as you can see, there is a discrepancy in the fourths, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So, say for 8, there are 3 slots in the grid where 8-letter answers could go, but there are only 2 clues, as you can see here, that have 8 here. So there's one of them, and then here is another one of them, but there is no third one. And that helps. So one thing you immediately notice is that, for example, this is 13 letters long, and there is only one, and there is a clue for that. So it certainly is very handy if you could get that clue early, because it gives you a lot of first letters, and so in general this is very helpful. And luckily I was able to get it reasonably early and thus sort of make a start. Although still somewhat cautious start, because I didn't know which were the unclued entries. So I'm not even sure like whether I should. I have some snippets of my solving process. I sort of started to solve it on paper, and then we finished together with my friend over a Zoom call. Basically, when I was about like 2/3 in, like clue-wise, and maybe halfway in grid fill-wise. So apart from this one across, which is so faulty facial recognition is a condition called prosopagnosia, and that is what goes there. So I think I'll just move straight to the end game. And what you get there is, so you identify at some point that these are the 6 unclued entries, and then around maybe the second of them, so I think the very first one I identified was Pierrot, and then I was trying to fit the other Commedia dell'arte characters there and realized that I don't really know the 4-letter ones. And then at some point I think Buffoon appeared, and then by that time we were solving with my friend, and I think we realized that it's probably different types of clowns, and indeed when we realized that even in Chambers Dictionary, graciosa or graciosa, not sure how to pronounce it, is a word with meaning some particular type of clown, and so August could also be a clown. And Coco is a famous British clown with some Russian origins. And then here is Zani, which I forgot to enter. But anyway, so once you do that, you kind of realize it's sort of clown themed already. And then the hidden message, which you get by reading the clue initial letters in the grid order. So prosopagnosia is a first across, and so you start with this O. And then a horse is another one, and then you get N. And then, Zani does not have a clue, and so you move to Yelm, and that is E, and so you get this 1. And what you get is 1 across, cover every theme word lettered cell. And you sort of by that point already suspect that theme word is clowns. And in the middle of 1 across, there is this, which is an abbreviation for a word which exists in Russian language as well as payac, payaci, which is clowns, and payac is a clown. And it exists in Italian, and so there is the work, the opera called, let me find it, Pagliacci, I think is how you pronounce it. And so Pagliacci literally means clowns. And so that is the thematic word, which is 6-lettered. And so what you need to do now is you need to cover all the cells that has letters from the word clowns. And if you do so, you get this. And I probably should have done it in some other color, but I'm a bit lazy now to change it. But you can see that we ended up with having a sad clown. And the only thing which was left for me to understand, and stupidly enough, even though it's a very famous song, I didn't actually know it. But yeah, Send in the Clowns is a very famous song, and so this what to send in does not very as much refer to the instruction to the solver, but just references. It just makes another reference to the clowns. I think this is a very beautiful puzzle, and I think we can easily forgive Charybdis for, well, I mean, I can easily forgive Charybdis for not having grid symmetry here. I know there are people out there with much stronger views on grid symmetry, but I really, really enjoyed it. And it probably wasn't, I mean, this recap does not really convey how difficult it was. I typically find jigsaws not that hard, but this one was, and mostly because I just had to doubt myself because of the presence of the unclued entries. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, and hope for many more Charybdis puzzles. Thank you for watching, and let's see what next week brings. Bye.